Good morning, Metalheads of the internet, and welcome to a very special Christmassy episode of the Metal Meltdown because it's that magical, wonderful, glorious, stupid time of the year. Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, the holiday season is finally, truly, officially upon us! I don't know about y'all, but I've been a really good boy this year, so I'm very pumped to see what Santa brings me. Chompy has been the bestest of good boys. So Chompy, why don't you actually tell me now, why don't you tell me real quick, what are you hoping Santa brings you? What did you ask for from Santa for Christmas? Tell me. A bass guitar? Sure, that makes sense. That's neat, that's cool. A trip to Disney World? That might be a little pricey for Santa, but maybe Santa can work that out. Time 2 from Winter Sun? Buddy, you're gonna have to lower your expectations. That shit ain't fucking happening, alright? Santa has delivered many a Christmas miracle over the years. I will concede there, bud, but that one might be a little too grand and great. So, yeah. Today we're going to talk about some really cool Christmas music, because why the hell not? We're going to talk about some cool Christmas albums, some cool Christmas songs that maybe are not featured on a particular album, but you should check out irregardless because it's Christmas, because it's that magical, wonderful time of the year. I'm going to take a little shot of Christmas spirit, if you don't mind. Oh, that's good. And I'm also going to very quickly remind you that the Metal Meltdown will be hosting its very special Christmas party on Monday, December 26th. We go live at approximately 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Anna, Chompy, and myself are going to play video games. We're going to get drunk, shoot the shit, do all kinds of dumb nonsense. And we're going to do so for a very good cause, because every single dollar made from this stream, including donations, which I will personally match up to $1,000 Canadian, will be given to the Fort York Food Bank. So pop in, say hello, maybe even do a good deed and donate. Monday, December 26th. Booyah, see you there. Alright, Christmas music. Let's do it. Let's start by talking about 5 really cool Christmas songs. These songs are not really featured on a particular album, or at least not a particular Christmas album, but they are Christmas themed, and they're cool, and they're good, so I think you should check them out and add them to your holiday playlist, irregardless of what Grandma and Grandpa have to say about it. First up, we have Christmas with the Devil, an underappreciated gem of 1980s Christmas holiday satire rock and metal from the one and only Spinal Tap. This was released as a standalone single back in 1984. It was eventually added to the This Is Spinal Tap album via deluxe editions and reissues and such. It's pretty goofy. It's pretty silly. It tries very hard to be epic, to the point of being extra silly and extra goofy, just like your typical Spinal Tap song, but also to a certain extent, also just like your typical Christmas carol. So in a weird way, the worlds of Spinal Tap and Christmas, they were meant to be together, and now that they are together, they are, as far as I'm concerned, symbiotically linked. I really like the doomy plotting and pounding here. I like some of the over-the-top vocal work, especially the harmonies and the chorus. I like that there are, like, some kind of weirder moments here and there. It's just a really fun, corny kind of Christmas rock song. It's basically everything Spinal Tap was doing so well in the 80s, but with a Christmas coat of paint. So, yeah. Fun. Cool. Awesome. Next up, we have No Presents for Christmas from King Diamond, a certified hood classic of pure satanic Christmas metal power, released back in 1985 as a standalone single. It has been included on the deluxe editions of The Fatal Portrait and on an EP known as The Dark Sides. It's also been reissued over the years on a variety of compilations and such. It's one of King Diamond's most iconic and well-known and unintentionally hilarious songs. There's something about his very weird, demented, nasally high-pitched shrieks and screams and yells and such that, paired with, like, classic heavy metal and first wave black metal guitar riffing, honestly, it fills me with a sense of glee that I'm sure that the Grinch experiences when he watches a bag of presents get smushed. Like, it is delightfully, deliciously anti-Christmas. It's very over-the-top and quintessentially King Diamond, in the same way that, you know, A Christmas with the Devil was over-the-top and quintessentially Spinal Tap for Spinal Tap. It's everything King Diamond already does so well, but with a Christmas coat of paint. And maybe a little bit of extra, like, Christmas cynicism and bah humbuggery, you know? I don't know if bah humbuggery is a word, if it's a term, but if it isn't, it now is. I'm coining it, officially. I'm stealing that from Scrooge. It's not my fault he's lazy and didn't trademark that motherfucker. It's mine now. And whoo boy, speaking of humbuggery, next up we have Red Water Christmas Morning from Type O Negative, a deep cut from the band's fourth studio album, October Rust, released in 1996. This song is about the fact that all of Peter Steele's family died on Christmas. I'm not joking. I'm not exaggerating. I kind of wish I was. Specifically, it's about his father having died on Christmas, though from what I understand, multiple other family members had passed near or around the time of the Christmas season, and this song kind of deals with the grief and the loneliness that Peter Steele is dealing with, and that many people, frankly, do deal with this time of the year, and it kind of uses Type O Negative's specific brand of, like, gothic, melancholic, dreary doom to kind of use that as a coping mechanism. It has some kind of interpolations and references to stuff like Carol of the Bells, God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen. It's a very hazy, smoky track, much like a lot of the material to be found on October Rust. Red Water in the title is even a direct reference to red wine. One can argue with this in mind that the track deals with alcoholism to a certain extent. Perhaps that was a coping mechanism for Peter at the time, along with the music. I don't know. I'm not really an expert on the man. Maybe Ty Tilly, if you're watching, maybe you can fill me in on some details. Of all the anti-Christmas ballads out there, this is definitely the most anti-Christmassy, to the point where maybe you shouldn't put this on a Christmas playlist, but I'm gonna put it on mine because, honestly, full disclosure, I'm not even the biggest fan of Christmas. So sometimes I just need something super dreary and fucked up like this to help me get through the holiday season. Next up, we have a cover of God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen, taken from a Christmas album compilation of sorts by the name of We Wish You a Metal Xmas and a Head-Banging New Year. God, that's kinda cringe. God, that's kinda lame. I'm not really into these compilation albums. I'm not really into these, like, kinds of projects, but I'm making a tribute for this specific song from this particular album/project because it is being delivered to us by none other than Ronnie James Dio and Tony fucking Iommi. Remember when Dio and Tony and Geezer Butler and them motherfuckers were hanging out and touring under the name Heaven and Hell? Remember when they put out an album called The Devil You Know? This would fit in fine on The Devil You Know. Straight up. Very slow-moving, methodical, dramatic, kind of epic doom metal with, like, a lot of hellish satanic vibes, Dio's booming, almost operatic tone, and Tony Iommi's signature bluesy licks and solos. It's pure fucking Sabbath nonsense. I have no idea if the entire compilation album is worth checking out, to be honest. And I also don't care. But I do know that this one song is pretty fucking cool. Check that out at the very least. And the final standalone song I want to tell you all about is Stripper Christmas Summer Weekend from GWAR. This was released as a standalone single sometime in the 2000s. I had trouble finding a specific date. It was included as a bonus track on the band's 2010 album Bloody Pit of Horror. And it is sleazy and gross and fucked up and gnarly and really dumb, and I really enjoy it. It's raucous and grimy and dirty and bloodthirsty and honestly kinda sexy. Like, this is a good party anthem. I wouldn't play this at, like, Christmas dinner with my mom and dad and my sister and my wife and our extended family. But if I were to host like an actual Christmas party here at the Metal Meltdown HQ, I would probably play this straight the fuck up. I maybe wouldn't play Red Water or God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen, but this, I'm playing this. Maybe not entirely Christmas, because it's like Stripper Christmas Summer Weekend, and Christmas is obviously in the winter, not summer. But there are people who do recognize Christmas in July as being a legitimate holiday, so I don't know, maybe. We can work with it. The point is, it's GWAR, it's fun, it's Christmas, fuck it, I'm counting it, you should too. God damn, this Jack Daniels is actually kind of fucking with me right now. Probably does not help that that's my breakfast. I legit have not eaten anything else yet today. I'm gonna change that the moment I stop this video. I got some pork belly in the fridge. I'm gonna slice the pork belly real thin. I'm gonna fry some fucking eggs. I got some fucking good-ass smoked cheddar and some sourdough bread and some hot sauce and some arugula, and I'm gonna make the most gnarly-ass, greasy-ass breakfast sandwich out of all of that. Hell yes. Alright, moving on to some albums. Moving on to 5 really cool albums that I think fit the Christmas mood quite nicely and are also mostly explicitly about Christmas. I say mostly because I'm cheating a little bit with a couple of these albums. One specifically, but a couple, to be fair. In fact, I might be cheating right off the goddamn bat with Christmas from Old Man Gloom, released in 2004. Hear me out. Just hear me out. No, it's not really Christmassy. It doesn't have a bunch of Christmas carols. It's not about Old Man Gloom learning about the meaning of Christmas or whatever the fuck. But the album is called Christmas. It has a song called Gift. It has a song called Something for the Misses. It has a song called Christmas Eve, parts 1, 2, and 3. So, you know. Alright, so it's not really Christmassy. Not really, but fuck it. Cut me some slack. You have any idea how hard it is to find, like, a Christmas metal album that isn't just a bunch of generic fucking carols being sung by a bunch of fucking boomers? It's difficult. Plus, in a weird way, this does kind of fit the anti-Christmas vibes in the same way that Red Water Christmas Morning from Typo Negative does. Like, this is a very pessimistic and mournful and depressing album, filled with a lot of anguished and, like, really oppressive and painful kind of sludge and post-metal and alternative metal. There are a lot of really harsh soundscapes, there are some progressive rock elements, there are some, like, noise rock elements, you know, a lot of really heavy riffs, a lot of really dark, smoky guitar tones, a lot of really brutal percussion. It's just a banging album that perfectly captures a real sense of, like, dread and misery. And again, much like Red Water Christmas Morning demonstrates, this time of the year isn't always great for some people. So sometimes you just need something to kind of let that all out with. Sometimes you just need a coping mechanism. Sometimes you need someone to just say, yeah, you know what, fuck Christmas. And I think Christmas from Old Man Gloom, maybe unintentionally, but irregardless, fits the bill kind of well with that. Next up, we have the Flesh-Eating Roller Skate Holiday Joyride EP from Psychostick, also known as one of the only comedy metal bands that I think is actually comedic, that actually tells legitimate jokes and is actually kind of funny from time to time. There are some pretty standard Christmas carols here, like there's a version of Jingle Bells, there's a version of Silent Night, both of which fuck to hell and back, but irregardless, they're there. But there's also a lot of, like, cynicism and kind of hatred and a lot of attitude here that I kind of appreciate, bringing in some hardcore, metalcore flavor, giving Christmas a little bit of edge and muscle. Like on Red Snow, Holiday Hate, Happy fucking New Year. Lots of great riffs, lots of aggressive, gnarly beatdowns, you know? This is a Christmas album that's probably going to open up a few mosh pits here and there, inspire people to beat the crap out of each other, maybe do a wall of death. And it's fun, and it's bite-sized because it can be chowed down in like 17 minutes. I dig it. Check it out. Speaking of fun and bite-size, let's talk about Jingle All the Way from Austrian Death Machine, the crossover thrash comedy metal Arnold Schwarzenegger worship project of Tim Lambesis from As I Lay Dying, who would never do anything controversial ever. Never in his entire life. Nuh-uh. Christmas is a family holiday, and he's definitely a family man, and he would do nothing to compromise said family. Oh boy, this one's maybe a weird one. Look, Tim Lambesis is not perfect, but honestly, this EP kind of fucking hits. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. It is a full-on tribute to specifically the movie Jingle All the Way, starring the aforementioned Arnold Schwarzenegger. Takes key moments and phrases and catch lines and shit from that movie. It turns them into abrasive, gnarly, crossover, thrash metal, ragers and anthems and such. A lot of great tasty riffs on here. I love how crunchy everything is. Some great vocal work, some great percussion. It's barely an EP, again with only 2 songs, barely clocking in at 10 minutes, but it's fun, it's cool, it's brutal, and I mean, you can always play this back-to-back with their other Christmas EP, A Very Brutal Christmas, which does have their most iconic song on it, Get to the Choppa. Definitely one of the sillier, goofier albums that we're talking about here, but fuck it, it's fun. Next up, we have August Burns Red presents Sleddin' Hill, a holiday album. Y'all had to have known they were going to be here. Let's not even bullshit each other here. August Burns Red love Christmas. They've covered several Christmas classics. They've done several Christmas EPs. This is a full-blown studio album, cram-packed with classic Christmas songs and jams and anthems and bangers. It's one of their most iconic works. Y'all had to have known this was gonna be here. When I typed in Christmas metal on Google, this was literally one of the first albums that popped up. This is August Burns Red just kind of letting loose, having fun, putting like a melodic metalcore coat of paint on a slew of songs that I'm sure you all know and recognize. Frosty the Snowman, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, We Wish You a Merry Christmas, Winter Wonderland, all the super big hits that even the most anti-Christmas motherfucker, even the most unknowledgeable dude about Christmas would probably, even if only by accident, know in some capacity. There are a few twists and turns that are pretty left field even for August Burns Red though, a lot of classic punk influence. The song Sleigh Ride even features a weird divulge into full-blown jazz. There are some nods and winks to like Blue Album era Weezer from time to time. A lot of really great tasty guitar playing all around. It's tight, it's well made. It's August Burns Red Sledding Hill. You're very likely aware of this album. You very likely added it to your holiday playlist if you are a metalhead and if you love Christmas. But if you have not, do so. And finally, we have a series of EPs, a heavy metal Christmas from Sir Christopher Lee. Yeah, most of you, if not all of you, would probably recognize Christopher Lee as being an actor. You would recognize him for his portrayal as Count Dracula in a slew of classic horror films. You would recognize him for his contributions to films like The Wicker Man, The Man with the Golden Gun. You would recognize him for playing Count Dooku and Saruman for, you know, the Star Wars prequel trilogy and The Lord of the Rings, respectively. But believe it or not, Christopher Lee was also a metalhead. He made guest appearances on a slew of albums from Rhapsody of Fire and also collaborated with the Hollywood Vampires and Manowar, and also in the 2010s put out a slew of symphonic power metal concept albums about Charlemagne. A man who was not only the first Holy Roman Emperor, but to whom apparently Christopher Lee was related to. Literally, by blood. What the fuck? Across the EPs, A Heavy Metal Christmas and A Heavy Metal Christmas 2, Christopher Lee putting his unique spin on a slew of Christmas classics. The Little Drummer Boy, Silent Night, Jingle Bells, which has been retitled Jingle Hell, because why not? For shits and giggles, there's also a cover of Frank Sinatra's My Way. I'm kind of impressed by the sound and the vibe of this. Like, there's some pretty twisted riffery. The production, the mixing and mastering, it's kind of raw and crusty and primitive. But, you know, Christopher's voice kind of cuts through everything. His voice is pretty clear. His gravelly Shakespearean tone and delivery, I think, adds a lot of weight to this. It's hard not to snicker and sneer a little bit, because, I mean, this is just so fucking weird. But, like, I dig it, and I respect the fuck out of Christopher Lee for just going balls to the walls, nonsensical stupid, and just being like, yeah, fuck it, I'm a Shakespearean actor, I was Saruman, I was Dracula, and now I'm doing a Christmas album. I respect that. I fucking respect that. I hope one day I have that level of freedom and power. And that does it for me. Those are all the Christmas songs and albums that I enjoy and tolerate this time of the year. What's on your Christmas playlist? What's on your holiday playlist? Tell me. Let me know in the comments below. Please and thank you. Merry Christmas from everyone here at the Metal Meltdown, from myself, from Chompy, from Anna. Happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, happy holidays if you're not specifically celebrating Christmas. If you're not celebrating anything this time of the year, I hope you're just having a pleasant day with your friends, with your family, you know, with good food and good drinks and all that stuff. Be sure to tune into the live stream and Christmas party on the 26th. Boom, other videos. Boom, subscribe. Voila! That's it, we're done. Have a great day. I love you.